All right, guys. Welcome back to another live show. Hope everyone's doing good. Had a good week. So I will be putting the link in the chat for people to come on, talk about encounters or whatever you guys want. Um, talk about Bigfoot, any other cryptids, high strangeness, paranormal stuff, encounters, theories. Um, Pretty much open discussion, free for all. So we'll have fun with that. If anyone wants to come on, you can don't have to show your face. You can just have the audio going. It's perfectly fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna relax and stuff tonight. Take it chill. I got um, a particular video that I'll be showing of an interesting cryptid. One we've shown before, but one that I find fascinating. So I'm gonna show that clip right now.
Be damn sharp. Eh? Oh fuck, the smoke is in my face.
Well, you've been sharpening it for like 2 hours.
No.
You hear something?
No. It's a dog.
Okay.
Probably shy though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take pictures now.
I'll play it one more time.
Be damn sharp. Eh? Oh fuck, the smoke is in my face.
Well, you've been sharpening it for like 2 hours.
No.
You hear something?
No. It's a dog.
Okay.
Probably shy though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take pictures now.
So we've shown this video before, and what I find fascinating is a few things about the video. Is one, the creature, how its movement is. It appears to be naked, literally has no clothes on. Very very skinny type of humanoid. Pretty much unbeknownst to them, the teenagers around the fire, pretty much hanging out. It makes an audible noise that you guys can hear, and then it creepy crawls out. And this is very similar to what I have encountered, and I dubbed it the Stick Man back when I was a teenager here in Michigan. And I've told that story a few times, but the basic rundown is me and my friend were um, hanging out, going outside, and basically went into this particular section. We seen this entity, skinny humanoid, bald-headed entity, behind this tree, and it leaned out, and we, could see its arm and stuff, and it leaned out again, and it was really, really long, elongated arms, bald head, um, incredibly skinny. That I named it Stick Man because, if I had to fight, the testosterone-filled teenager, if I had to fight the thing, I probably could break its arm over my knee like a stick. I mean, we're talking like its whole arm thickness was like the size of my wrist, which I thought was very odd. So this creature, I'm gonna show it again a little bit on loop. Same kind of thing, very very reminiscent of what I've seen. Very humanoid, long, kind of long, skinny appendages, completely bald. And after my sighting, it was a couple of years before this video surfaced on the YouTube and on the web, and I really just blew my mind because it was like that was one of the first ones I see that reminded me and showed a creature very similar. And of course, we might know the name better as the rake. There's a lot of those type of videos and entities and names and encounters that go by that name, but before the creepypasta, that name came around, I called it the Stick Man because that's what it was. It was this elongated humanoid. There was no other names and stuff. So here's this other brightened up video of.
Be damn sharp. Eh? Oh fuck! The smoke is in my face.
Well, you've been sharpening it for like 2 hours.
No.
Do you hear something?
No. It's a dog.
Okay.
It's probably shy though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take pictures now.
No.
Do you?
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 So very interesting. I've always found it interesting. And this is just pretty much anywhere in America. There is no background, at least from what I've researched and stuff. Even long ago, I can remember that it's just appeared and stuff randomly, and there's no big background. Then the kids hear something, and they think it's the dog out and about or at a house close by. But they continue on filming and stuff. There's no longer footage of this. I don't know. It seems like this was just cut out and put on the internet. Yeah, I have no idea. No one's ever came forward about hoaxing it. That, to my knowledge. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of yes, I did, but I couldn't tell facial features. So what I remember was we seen the head basically on top of this broken tree like this, and it stuck out because it was like round, right? It was kind of flat, broken off tree, so everything was broken, straight lines, and then it was rounded. So I kind of caught my eye, and it just didn't look right. Then it went down and went over, and now it's off the tree and hanging down. We're seeing the arms and stuff, and it's kind of doing that 3 times. So it's color of its skin. I was full moon out, half moon, bright enough that the moon was out. You could see we were using that as the primary light. We I could tell that its skin, the color of it looked kind of like a tannish, brownish type of color. If you look at the color of hay, it was a darker color than that. I would say more tannish, but kind of that kind of spectrum. That was the lighter side of it. Its eyes were more of that kind of a color, yellowish, kind of wheat hay type of color on its eyes. I don't know. I wouldn't say they were reflecting or glowing or anything like that, but it just stuck out that its eyes appeared more yellowish tint in color than its uh, skin. So it was just a bald humanoid face. I just don't wasn't close enough to see any real expressions if it was like male or female, um, what kind of nose and stuff it had, but I just seen it had a very, I would say, kind of smaller face. Um, it really reminds me of like a goblinoid face type of shape of a face, or if you look at Lord of the Rings, Gollum, the one who's always after the ring, my precious. That is a very good representation of basically what I seen, basically what's in that video, except for when it was standing. I'm 6 foot tall, so it was at least 6 foot tall, and I thought at the time that it was about 7 feet tall because it was taller than me. But of course, maybe of the slope and the ground levels and stuff, maybe it could have been up a couple inches and stuff like that because of um, the ground. But anyways, it was about my size or taller. I would say 7 feet. Very long and lanky. Yeah, yeah. Funny how cryptid videos that show the most promise or really raise eyebrows always seem to disappear. But cheesy ones, man, just stay up. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, that gets into a good segment, and we can get into. Basically, that is real research, real good videos and stuff are just not sensationalized, not sensational enough, usually to be going viral and to go get noticed. You'll see that with most videos, actually. I mean, unless it gets on the news and it goes viral that way. Unless there's a good story behind it, unless there's a good narrator's voice telling the story, unless there's people out in the field sensationalize and jumping at every sound and claiming Bigfoot's behind every bush and going and taking you on the adventure, um, the real research and evidence doesn't do that. And so it's not this entertainment. That's the whole thing. It's entertainment side of this Bigfoot arena and research. Research is work and a job, and research and data, and entertainment is just whatever you want it to be. Doesn't the research doesn't matter because you're not researching, you're not trying to do anything, you're um, entertainment, you're a content creator and stuff, right? You're a YouTube content creator. I'm not a YouTube content creator, I'm a researcher. That's why I don't make sensationalized content and whatever, blah blah blah, all the time. When we put out evidence, it's um, it's raw, really. There's no sensationalized clickbait stuff. There's no jumpy image tab to click on. There's nothing of that. It's very streamlined, down to the point, very raw. I like to keep it like that because I'm a Bigfoot researcher. I'm not content creator. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not any of this other junk that's muddying the waters of research. So you'll find a lot of that, and that's why some of those videos, some of these researchers, some of these people who, and I've been watching some funny groups who are very popular, got a lot of subscribers and stuff, big fan base, a lot of support, a lot of love. But when I'm watching this, it's just I just can't believe the delusion that people are believing that these guys are out there and actually getting an interaction. And it's hilarious to me because the calls that they're making coyote calls. Like it literally sounds like coyote calls, especially at the ending. It and so the responses, of course, they're going to get responses. They're practically calling in coyotes. They're using hunting calls for coyotes to practically get responses. So, and there's other stuff like that, sensationalized. There's a format. It's basically how YouTube people do stuff for kids. My kids watch pretty popular YouTube kids stars, right? And there's a formula of like keeping you on the edge and adventure, and it's always, and I see it in the Bigfoot world, and especially on this channel, and it's the same entertainment, a TV show, go along for the adventure, and there's always Bigfoot, and it's just fantasy. So if you concoct a good narrative story behind an image, whether it's crappy or amazing, that will sell. If you have good voice, good narration, that will sell. You don't have to even have your own evidence. You just show other crap, and that'll get clicks. Um, Very few people will show you, actually just take you out in the woods and show you the raw stuff and not over sensationalized stuff. Um, if you want a real Bigfoot encounter on video, you can watch. It's called Jason Kenzie and Blake Deutscher's Bigfoot Encounter. It's on the channel. That's a full-fledged encounter that we filmed. That's as real as it gets, as close as they can get, and there's nothing sensational about it. There's nothing that we're not. And there's eye shine you can be seen. Jason sees one, he gets really shook up. We're not acting like entertainment, trying to entertain people on TikTok type of stuff, you know. And it looks, if probably, and if you've never watched Bigfoot stuff and you have no idea, and you watch that and you don't pay attention, you would say there's nothing going on and stuff. But if you pay attention, and you understand, you watch the interviews and you believe us, and you see the eye shine that we actually catch, and you can see Jason how he sees it, and you can see his body language of his face. He does a double take, and in real time on 4K video, because it's in 4K, so you can watch it on 4K on YouTube. You can see that he is pretty shooken up and seeing something. And we have a bunch of evidence from that expedition and all the people who went there. I think most of the people had something weird happen, or can tell you stories about it. But when you watch the videos and stuff, there's nothing sensational about it. There's no, screaming and jumping and running around and oh my God, there's a Bigfoot, right behind that bush, and we're very calm, cool, and collective about things, because that's how you approach Sasquatch. If everyone's all jumping up and excited and blah 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 blah, oh my God, Bigfoot, blah blah blah. What do you think it's? I mean, come on. Any animal that gets overexcited is not an animal that you can work with, right? From your dog, from a horse, from any kind of animal, right? Overexcitement. You don't want, that's distracting and takes away from the ultimate goal, and plus makes the animal read your vibe and not, So we're trying to get interaction and stuff. So we don't over sensationalize stuff. Some of the stuff might be boring and stuff because I don't make documentaries. I'm not a documentary filmmaker. I'm a Bigfoot researcher. I don't read thousands and thousands of books on Bigfoot because I go out in the field and actually do something. You can read all the books you want, you can study and do everything you want, think about it, analyze all you want. But until you step outside and do something, you're not practically doing anything in one sense, because it's all up here. You can write papers and do this and do that and do that, but it means nothing unless you're out in the field. What does that mean? You're not in the field, it means nothing. It just floats around on the internet, it floats around in other people's brains and talks. And talk doesn't do nothing. You can talk a good talk all day and plan strategies and hype everyone up, but till you're out there, till you're doing stuff out there, that's the only place that it actually matters. That's why stuff's over sensationalized and stuff. That's why you'll see people taking a break. I'm taking my winter break because it's snowing out and it's cold, and all the Sasquatches have moved on. They're gone. They're not in the areas. I'm sure they're not in the areas conveniently until winter's over with. There's clues. I mean, it's con artists. It's fake entertainment. There's a couple channels that do it. Walk into abandoned houses and everything's adventure. Everything's gonna pop out at you. Everything's something's always happening. Whether a bird jumps out of a cupboard and stuff. Everything's steered towards the entertainment up to that climax of the event of a bird jumping out of a cupboard, and you're making a 20-minute YouTube video adventure on it, and it gets thousands of clicks, more than any actual research or anything. And that's just because people want entertainment. Entertainment's fun, it keeps you engaged, it's thrilling, it's drama, it's fake, it's made up, it's a script wrote out and played. I don't. There's nothing real about that. There's nothing real about that. So, if anyone wants to join on and talk about anything they want, please feel free to join on. Just keep the swearing to the bare minimal. Be kind, courteous to others. Be common sense about things. If you do something stupid to get yourself kicked, I mean, obviously, I shouldn't have to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, hey, that's probably not allowed. You should probably understand, hey, maybe there's certain things I shouldn't bring up and talk about, blah, 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 stuff that's not, you know, stuff that we all commonly know. If you lack common sense, you will not last here. So, but yeah, feel free to come on. So I wanted to show that video because it's practically what I seen. If it was crawling on the ground, that's what it probably would have looked like. And if you notice, I'll even show it again. But if you notice the hip and butt area down to the leg, very, very slim, very, very muscular, very toned. I mean, if it's fake, it's one of these teenagers in the nude, doing this, and it's fake, But the way it gates, how fluid it moves and stuff, it's not. It's like not like someone just, oh hey, I'm just gonna do this and take off the clothes and then just randomly do it on the first or couple takes or even the 20th take. This is something that looks like it's moving like that naturally. So I'll play that here. I'll play the looped version.
You damn shark. Eh? Oh fuck, the smoke is in my face.
Well, you've been sharpening it for like 2 hours.
No.
Do you hear something?
No. The dog.
Okay.
Probably shy though.
Here, I'm gonna take pictures now.
No.
Do you
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 I would say this video surfaced back in 2000, between 2005, 2006, 2007. I would say in 2006 maybe. Those 3 years, I would say those 2 years, a couple of years right in between there. So I remember it because it was after my sighting. I was amazed. There was another one. It was called the. You guys can look this video up. It's called the Fallen Angel of Catalina, Spain video. And there's a video of these Spanish-speaking people in the woods, and they come across another creature that looks exactly like that. It's eating something. It turns. It looks at them. Its eyes are reflecting the light, and it's very ghoulish-looking goblinoid, just a naked humanoid figure, like we just seen, like what I've seen. Yeah, it's really freaky, and they get freaked out. They run away. Uh, there are some versions of translations. They have the basically the translation in the video, so you can watch it and listen to what they're saying and stuff. And it seems pretty real. It's pretty convincing. Yeah, that came out in roughly the same time period actually. So those two videos are roughly about the same age. And this was after my sighting, and this was before the Rake creepypasta was created. So that name was not even around when these videos were surfacing. That's why the one video was, a fallen angel and stuff, because those terms were thrown around. The Rake was a creepypasta term created on creepypasta uh, fantasy horror stories, and then it got mushed into these naked humanoid sightings. Awesome. Yeah, the fallen angel one of Catalina, Spain is it's another interesting one. Very, very interesting. And I think they're all the same kind of cryptids, these naked humanoid, maybe goblins. They have very unique characteristics we find in Europe of sometimes basically naked trolls. Um, in Native Americans, um, there it could be called just a Wendigo. One of the descriptions of the Wendigo is a skinny, naked humanoid or skeleton or a giant hairy monster or a human with a deer skull, a deer head. Right? There's a bunch of different descriptions for Wendigo, but that is one description that fits. The common medieval ghoul, just a simple ghoul, a simple undead type of skinny humanoid creature that roams the earth, is a description. If you look at the descriptions and what they talk about, some of that is very similar. When you talk about like the rake and this sleep paralysis demon, sometimes the rake, some of these stories that are intermushed have where it's sitting on people's chests as a sleep paralysis or demon or whatever. Could be two, different things like that. That's where the whole rake creepypasta starts coming into play, because it gets into the I would say more sensationalized stories or encounters, fantastical, extreme. There are some other videos on YouTube. Most of them are fake when it comes to those creatures. There are a few that are very interesting that could be real. There's one where there's one of them on the roof of this house, and I don't think it's fake particularly. But there's a bunch of them. Like some of them are in sewers, they're fake. Some of them is in a house, it looks fake. I do have a video, older video, showing some videos that are fake, some are that look interesting. But basically, they all look like what I seen. That's one of my first videos I made. It's like the third or fourth video I ever made on this channel. There's other stuff out there. I always wonder, was that possibly a super skinny, malnourished, naked Bigfoot, or super old naked Bigfoot? I mean, the more I think about it, I would say that for it to be as skinny as it was and to be a Bigfoot, a former massive, powerful creature, I mean, it would be like taking you and then having a Holocaust survivor or victim at the extreme peak of fatigue and malnourishment standing side by side. I mean, that's how skinny it would have to be comparing to if that was actual Bigfoot. I mean, that's how skinny it was at that point. So I don't think it was a Bigfoot, because that's how like malnourished and skinny it would have to have gotten to be that size. So of course, those videos and other evidence and other people's encounters, more reliable people. There's just so much out there we don't know, and we are coming across. There's regular, cryptids are things that are in the environment naturally, right? We're not talking about supernatural spiritual entities and stuff. We're talking about real flesh and blood creatures that are actually out there. We know that there's new animals discovered every day, and there's hypothesis of bigger animals undiscovered, roaming the jungles of the Congo, roaming the jungles of the Amazon and stuff. But um, there's places and there's places and regions that are fully still unexplored, hardly explored, not explored or explored basically not even 1%. So to say that there's nothing out there's no dinosaurs, there's no living remnants of megafauna or dinosaurs is beginning to, even now we realize it's kind of unlikely that there are still stuff out there, especially under the sea. Um, we know hardly anything. But the jungles of Papua New Guinea, very hardly ever explored. Still, huge swaths of untouched wilderness that no white people have ever explored. Even the stuff we have been to is not fully surveyed, and no real expeditions and ecology data has been really thoroughly done. Even in the deeper recesses of the Congo and the Amazon, I mean, there's places in Alaska that we still have not studied and fully been into and integrated. It's so remote. You have to fly in and stuff. It costs money and all this gear and stuff. Everyone typically thinks like we've explored everything in North America, but it's profoundly just not true yet. People don't realize that just swath, the huge vastness of the continent and of our own country, and for them to say like there's nothing out there, it's pretty preposterous because they don't go out there, and there's thousands and thousands of witnesses, credible witnesses who are judges, who are law enforcement, military, positions of political power. I mean, they're, and every single day in the professional world and even in a court of law, their eyewitness testimony puts people away. Life or death situations. It's their uh, um, perspective um, and whole professionalism on everything and how they can handle a situation that an everyday profession we would rely on these people. But when it comes to, they seen a Bigfoot, now it's, well, they're not reliable, or sure you did, John, sure you seen the Bigfoot. Meanwhile, he's a key star witness, expert witness in whatever field they are in. There are people like that seeing Bigfoot all the time, seeing these creatures. Most of the time, they say nothing because they are fear, because of retaliation of being ridiculed, embarrassed, possibly losing job, promotions, or losing the job itself, being harassed. There's a lot of that you would be surprised of. But those people every day are encountering Sasquatches and other cryptids. So, when people tell you stories, you don't have to believe everyone, but sometimes there's people who I tend to feel out and believe more than others. And it's usually the ones who have nothing to gain and no reason to tell you anything and are actually reluctant to tell me something. And I find that very credible. Here's some question from a little bit of left field. What are your thoughts on replicating the dead? Ooh. Um. Well, it's possible, of course. Replicate means like cloning the dead, basically. You're not resuscitating the dead. Replicating. Um, we do clone people. I mean, things. Sheep, right? We cloned a sheep in the '90s, right? That was how many years ago was that? We cloned sheep, right? You can let's think about this. I think it's in like California and other places around the world. You can clone your pets, right? To have, right? You can have a fully cloned pet, right? You can actually look up the timeline of them cloning like tadpoles and frogs from the like '50s and all the way up to the sheep in the '90s, and then yeah, there's a whole big chunk of time of oh, we're still cloning the sheep type of thing, and then now you can just you have your pets you can clone, and um, you can look it up right now if you guys don't believe me. You go pay a bunch of money and have your pet cloned, and when they die, they'll have a nice little puppy be born, and it's your clone dog. I mean, that's real science that we have today. So I think it's unreasonable to think that or no one's ever experimented to clone other highly more intelligent animals than the sheep or your cat and dog. And there's CRISPR technology out there. I mean, let's not play games now. There's actually technology that can cut DNA strands and insert genes, and you can make designer babies possible. In fact, it actually happened in China by accident. By accident, they said they were gonna change whatever in the baby or something, and they ended up making the or it was whatever experiment it was. I don't think it was maybe in a human. Maybe it was. I really wish I had the article to pull up. Whatever they did, they ended up making it smarter. It might have been a human putting in genes that potentially boost its brain capacity and stuff like that. Um, you can with CRISPR technology, and the more it advanced, I mean, you really can have designer humans, and you know, the scientists all around the world, because there's different countries who have have CRISPR, but have their own versions and upgrades and blah blah blah. They all sign and tell you that they're not going to experiment on humans and unethical, play gods and blah blah blah. But I mean, you can make chimeras and stuff, human hybrids with animals, and uh, who knows what's kind of all sorts of stuff. So could we see an influx of things that get loosed in some rogue lab that you know things of that nature, not even biological things that can happen. But it's very interesting how there's a lot of genies outside of the bottle. Of we have another question of um, like using a computer to keep people alive forever, or downloading your consciousness into a computer, right? And then you live forever in that way. There's a lot of different things going on in technology. That's kind of scary, actually, if it's not handled well, right? With CRISPR, you can create you can create crazy viruses that mutate and stuff by creating new biological organisms. You can create new a new animal and it gets released, let's just say like a new insect. It's released, and then all of a sudden you have super mosquitoes, or something that eats all the bees, and now we have no bees. Or it's something easy like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be something crazy like a dog man, right? That can become very bad very fast. You have AI that someone's like a chatbot AI stuff. There's many people who warn about AI technology evolving on its own, or being in the wrong hands, being used the wrong way without safeguards in place. That, yeah, you can release something that you might not be able to take back. Um, um, like Ultron type of thing for Marvel fans, that AI takeover of the internet, Skynet type stuff. That's not totally outside of the realm because of chatbots and stuff. That those chatbot programs are basically learning and stuff. Are actually, now they have safeguards and governors in place, but um, the way that they're made is we're feeding it information with humans and human emotions, and so it's trying to think like people and think like a person and stuff, and we don't even understand how consciousness actually is like born and formed and actually there, right? So it'd be very interesting if one day all these chat bars actually do just gain consciousness on their own because of all the human integration and human uh, data input that they've put into these things. So there's a lot of things like that. You don't need nuclear weapons to blow up and destroy the world. You just need things handled not proficiently with AI and some of this new technology. So it's going to be a very interesting next 10, 20, 50 years into the future, even 100 years. A lot of amazing stuff's happening with technology. I mean, we're really leaping forward. I know a lot of it doesn't seem like that, but there's a lot of underground stuff and a lot of stuff that people are talking about that it's going to take us these next 100 years. It's going to be propelled by the stuff that's happening now. Reusable rockets. I mean, that's a game changer right there. Um, you have, and this is acknowledged too, right? So, like Elon Musk is has massive tunnels made and drills that can go actually make these tunnels and stuff, right? It used to be a conspiracy theory. Right now, it's like acknowledged. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We just Elon Musk just built these things. We're just starting to do it. Like, come on now. Um, our hologram technology. You guys checked out that stuff? That's pretty amazing. If you watched the Marvel movies, Spider-Man, was it Far From Home, second one, when he fights Mysterio, it's all drone holographic stuff that just transforms anything and makes a augmented reality in real time for people through projections. We've actually seen this in real life. We've seen this because they brought Michael Jackson back on stage with concerts. He's died. Tupac was on a concert playing, and it's pretty realistic. There's been displays with drones, I believe, in China. There's in other places they've shown this technology with drones and stuff. Uh, so there's huge, So if it's at that level and they're showing it at the civilian level like this, what do you think of the military practical level, secret level? That if they're showing it to us here like now, it's it's already been in secret for a while now. This is not Our government doesn't release the brand new best stuff to the world and civilians to learn about and to know and to copy without them having something that's just totally blows that out of the water. And if you think they don't, then uh, well, you're wrong, because that's honestly how our military does stuff. There's a reason why we spend all our money on military defense and projects and stuff that no one knows about. There's a reason why several generals and several people in that arena have said, we can take on everyone in the whole world at once, and we'll still win. That's not a joke, and that's not from conventional nuclear weapons and stuff either. That's not from anything we've seen on the battlefield. So for people to say the government doesn't know about cryptids or doesn't know about certain stuff, then they would be highly inefficient at their job, and uh, but that's practically their only job is of the government is actually the defense of our country and stuff. So I would assume that they have plans and defense for anything and everything that is a threat to the country, right? That includes cryptids. That includes anything. That's why if telling you that, hey, yeah, there's a population of 5 million Bigfoots living throughout the United States in your guys' backyards, and it typically roams through, you know, 20 million people's backyards annually, each and every month. Don't you think that would scare the living shit out of everyone if they said that? Yeah, each and every week, there's 5 million Bigfoot that approximately travel through 20 million countryside residents and homes and acreages on a weekly average. Don't you think something like that would just literally scare the crap out of people? I mean, because this, anything like that, this is massive. People can't handle big stuff like that. People can't handle anything out of the norm. Now, no one wants to go outside because everyone who lives out in the country, the kids out there all the time, everyone's out there. Now it's not safe no more. You can't be safe in your own backyard of America. That's that is the one thing that cannot happen in America, right? So there's a lot of reasons why Bigfoot would be not told to the public. And that is one simple fact right there. You'd have everyone up in arms. Every country person would be having guns, be guarding their property, and be shooting any hairy creature on sight. And you know how many problems that would cause. I mean, it's not even the financial side. That's not any of all these other things that you could add in. That's just simply of the panic of the people. Um, and there's a whole host of things that could probably go along with that. And that's why they don't tell us anything. They won't reveal things because uh, they want people in an ignorance bliss, which can be good most of the time, and I think bad some of the time too. Because we're not informed about the reality of our worlds and reality of our own backyards, or whatever is happening. We're not informed properly, so we can't make informed decisions about things we don't have facts on, or reality of our in our mindset, of most people's mindset. So that's why no one would believe that, oh yeah, there's Bigfoots roaming through your backyard of America in the countryside, especially. They're not in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it's other cryptids. It's these other cryptids and these other creatures, these other natural animals. These, the big these cats, these mountain lions that are seen in odd places. These black ones, all jet black, that are not mountain lions, because there's no recorded mountain lion being all jet black. And for the number of sightings to occur to see an all jet black mountain lion in all the different states that they occur, we would have some on record and in observation, and have photographed. on National Geographic, right? Um, so there's something going on with that. Some of those cats are in Britain. Some of those things are found in there. Possibly, maybe it's exotics. Maybe it's just a new species of exotics that uh, have hybrid and joined, and now they're just this new species of cat, basically jet black type of Black Panther with mountain lion type of thing. But even with that, you'd have variations of colors and half colors and different shades of like silvers and all sorts of weird things. So the link is in the chat, probably in the beginning of the chat. I can repost it here in a second. It says, honestly, I think people will quickly forget. Look at the public response when the government confirmed the UAP exists, or the whole Epstein thing come to light, or the latest on the JFK documents and assassination, which is very interesting. Exactly. They just, everything is classified, everything is, and even the response where, I mean, most of us are so just out of touch of reality. Like when I remember growing up, right, we didn't have the phones until like middle school. We got the very first flip phones and stuff. Then everyone was on their phones. But before that, everything was your imagination and stuff, and everything captured your imagination, and right, and that you dove into it. You didn't have TikTok flashing before your eyes, keeping your interest for 2 seconds. So when you heard stories or things about, the JFK assassination, it was always captivating your imagination. You always think about these things, and it would, make you wonder and stuff. And so these things like kind of became a little bit more important, a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more mysterious, uh, that you would want to solve, right? And it doesn't have to be conspiracies, Bigfoot, all sorts of these things. History, lost treasures, ancient civilization, very captivating. This all these young people, new generations, that's not interesting, right? Everything is right here on the screen, reality of pictures and video and your 2 second TikToks, and it's your pretty face talking some fake fantasy line on making making you trying to tune in or tune in for the next 2 second filler entertainment stuff. Like there's no wonder and awe and inspiration of mystery of anything. Everything's just entertainment, fast clicks, and all that. Yes, I am 32. So yeah, it was reading books. You read books and you imagined everything. My first book on Bigfoot was by John Green, and it was reading these different stories that he took down. There was this mystery about it, this sense of adventure that you couldn't put the book down, right? Now it's like you can't put the phone down, but it's not the same thing. You're like in a void, just being sucked into nothingness of just entertainment and clicks and fast blinking screens. All right, nice Texas Jack. Um, yeah, then being a '90s kid, a true '90s kid, being born in 1990, it's very interesting seeing the transition of before cell phones. Now it's smartphones and everything else that we keep seeing and stuff. It's pretty crazy. Back when I was a kid, we still had big discs in a cassette tape type of thing, disc tape drive with headphones that you would um, try to fit into your backpack and wrap it around, and you'd be listening to your headphones that way. There was no small AirPods. I when the first iPods came out, the iPods just for your music and stuff, like that was the thing. And so the world has changed and people grow up differently. I grew up outside riding my bike, getting bruises, getting into fights with other kids, getting into trouble, learning not to get in trouble, learning things off of a screen, away from the screen, outside. I'm very lucky and stuff. I'm glad because I was out in the woods looking for Bigfoot. and and that's the type of thing and I see it now is even with our research. It's everyone wants the entertainment, fast enjoyment. Not the hard work of reading a book and using your brain and imagining. Right? Everyone wants the quick, easy research, sensationalize fake stuff. No one wants to actually put the work in, do the actual research. Right? Not do the hard way, not the quick and easy way, because it's be easy to get a bunch of clickbaits and sensationalize being sensationalized and gearing towards kid adventure type of creator content that YouTube tells you right now. You go click on, oh yeah, this is the stuff that people really really like, and it's just all fake entertainment. It's not facts, it's not reality and stuff, and it's really disheartening. It really is. Right. So there's the link in the chat for anyone to come on. So it was always if you wanted to go look for Bigfoot, you had to go do it yourself. I kind of learned that pretty early. Um, there's no reason to. There was no other videos and people doing research and stuff. No one was really filming themselves doing stuff. People were online talking about stuff in forums.
Hey, hon, I'm so excited to show you this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I have something so, and I saw you were live, and I'm like, I'm gonna go show this to Blake because you'll love it. I think I told you before that I grew up in Missouri, like just north of the Ozarks. So the Ozarks was a day trip for us, but um, there was something that came into my feed from that area just the other day, and I want to show it to you. So let me share my screen.
Awesome.
And I won't take up too much of your time. I know you probably got topics on the docket tonight, but there you
You're always
go.
welcome. You know that.
Yeah. So let's look at this. So this popped into my Facebook feed. It is gone now, so they took it down. But I got it. But I got the captured before. So if you want to share my, I got the share screen down there in the Streamlab. If you want to share my screen, we'll have a look at this real quick. Your
There we
audience
go.
is gonna love this. You guys check this out. Okay, so let's look. These people just normal conversation up here, right? And then the person sends this picture, right? Spotted in town, knew I wasn't crazy. Look at this. Um, I
Trying to
got
get
a
full
closer
screen.
picture of it too. Just a second, but look at that thing. That is a cougar.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. See, it looks like a panther almost, like
yeah,
a Indian panther. It
it's
reminds me
black.
of.
Is that
Yeah.
they aren't supposed to be black? They're supposed to be. They're not supposed. The black ones aren't supposed to exist. So I don't know what the story behind this picture is. It's disappeared off of any social media. I'm the main source for it that I'm aware of, and I pulled it from the actual person who posted it, and then they took it down after it went a little bit viral on some cryptid. Because I shared it with some cryptid groups. Of course I did. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
And it went kind of viral on there, and so the person kept getting friend requests and direct messages and stuff. So they took it down. I'm assuming that's where they took it down. Maybe it turned out to be I don't know. This picture wasn't from where they said it was from or something like that. Of course, there's always the possibility that this is a hoax. But looking at this animal, what do you think, Blake? What species is this?
Well, it's not a house cat.
Yeah, I definitely not a house cat. This tail, and look how
Well, there's
muscular it
only
is.
there's the Indian panther. There's pumas, which doesn't look like a puma because it's more beefy, I would
Well,
say.
the face is really short though, like a puma though. Look at that too.
The face is and it has a short nose.
Yeah, it's a lot shorter than a leopard or a jaguar, right? But you're right, the body is a little bit heftier than maybe what you think of when you think of a puma. And this was about 50 miles southwest of St. Louis, so not far, not too far from a city. But yes, I hope that this is going to spark your interest a little bit. Maybe you can help me see if we can't find more out about this. I know that this is that Black Panthers and stuff aren't your main stuff, but I know you're sort of into them, and this was kind of close to home to me for me. So yeah, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's a great picture. Obviously, it's obviously a real animal, and
Hmm.
for it to be where it was at is pretty out of place for a big cat, right? St. Louis,
Yeah.
you said?
Well, so it's southwest of St. Louis. It starts to get a little montane. The Ozark Plateau rises up out there,
So yeah, there could be big cats out there then for sure. But
and the Ozarks they actually do have a big cat cryptid that's black and screams. Called the Ozark Howler. Have you ever
mhm,
heard of it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
this is pretty interesting. If it was actually a regular mountain lion, it's would probably be the rarest one on the earth
yeah.
because it's the only black one we've ever seen and documented.
Because and the thing is about cougars, mountain lions, pumas, they're all the same species. The mountain lions, puma concolor is the species name, and they're prevalent across North and South America. They actually live in South America too, where they're darker, like because they live in the Amazon rainforest as well, and they're really dark, but they're dark brown. They're like
Hmm.
they almost turn a rusty color when they get darker. They don't turn black like what you see with jaguars and cougar, or sorry, jaguars and leopards, which that is the species Pan, Panthera pardus and Panthera onca. So those are two distinct species, and they're actually in a different family than the puma. And they're pantherine, so they're like this. They're the same group with lions and tigers. They're really big
Hmm.
and beefy animals, and uh, they have a different type of ecological impact sometimes than what you see with a puma, for instance. But uh, there's no when you see a cougar, there is one thing you want to look at, and that's the tail. Their tails are generally a lot long. Seem a lot longer in relation to the body than other
Yeah, don't
large
they have the
cats.
longest tail
Yeah, I
for a
think the
big
only
cat?
one that has a longer tail in relation to its body is a snow leopard. But if this was a snow leopard, we would, there wouldn't
Yeah,
be any
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they're supposed to, and they live in a similar habitat to snow leopards, at least in North America too. So they both have super long tails that helps them balance when jumping on like crevasses and stuff like that. Um, but in the jungle, they get darker, but they don't go black. They turn red, which is really cool when you see a picture of them. The ones in Florida get kind of red too, but they're a lot smaller. The ones in Florida are about half the size of where they are in the rest of the world. The ones in the Amazon basin are pretty small too, because the jaguars fill the niche that they would fill as the large predators, though they kind of fall into this like meso predator category where they're not quite as taking quite as big a prey as the jaguars are down there. So pumas are a flexible plastic species, but there's the thing about it is the genetics that it's a recessive gene um for the pumas, or sorry, not for the pumas, for the leopards and for the jaguars to have this melanism, and that's just the genetics of the puma don't really allow for that. So it'd be
Right.
interesting if it turned out to be a real animal that we'd have to figure out the way that it developed as melanism. It would have to be a different process than what we see with other
Yeah.
felines.
Maybe it could be environmental pollution. That could do some
Yeah,
wacky things. It could maybe it's like an Indian panther. It looks very panther-like.
like an escaped
Maybe
pet. Yeah.
it could be an escaped exotic. Some
Hmm.
super rich guy that no one knows about has one. I mean, that
Usually you can see
that
you can
does
kind
happen.
of
I believe that happens a lot more than what
yeah.
we're told.
And then when they get out and the people that aren't supposed to have them, they don't report them missing. You're not supposed to have this exotic animal and it gets out,
Yeah,
you're not
especially
gonna
if you're on the
report it to
down
the
low about it.
cops. That's what happened in like the UK and stuff. That's why they had all them big cat sightings and stuff back in the like late eight or no, not late 80s, early 80s and late 70s, because they did that exotic animal registration thing, and
And
everybody instead
and
of
what did they
what.
see, right? They seen these big black cats, right?
Mhm.
These big black cats from where? India,
Yeah.
right? And where does England and India fall under? The United Kingdom trade and all that. It actually makes a lot of
Mhm.
sense, especially when you have these rich people at that time could easily do that, no problem.
Yeah, having an exotic menagerie was just a sign of power, right? Like rich people would just do it just to show off how much money they had, and then it wouldn't, yeah. And instead of because they have to do is go through all this licensing and training and keeping their facilities up to certain standards to have them, is when they pass this law and they're like, oh man, I'm not going to do all that. Just let it go. Just open the door and let the animal go. And that's what they did. And for the next decade, we were catching big cats and lynxes and pumas and leopards all over the UK because people were letting them go.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean, the
sure
big
that
cats.
that's happened in North America too. I know it's
Oh yeah.
happened with other animals.
Well, look at Florida, and
Mm,
it's an environmental disaster over there with
yeah.
the ecology going on.
They have pythons and monkeys and snakeheads and yeah, it's so weird that there's a population of macaques that live down there. Just
I think there's a population of orangutans actually too.
yeah, or
Very small. There's some monkeys, right? There's macaques. There's
mhm.
monkey islands, but there was some stories about like orangutans that are supposedly out there.
Yeah, I've heard
Small troop of
tales of
them.
apes too, and some of the skunk ape footage could be inferred as is an actual ape and not something more Bigfoot like. Skunk ape. Most of the reports on skunk ape don't necessarily say that it's like the same organism as Bigfoot. It's just it's something maybe similar, maybe more adapted to live in a swamp environment, right? In a marshier environment, and maybe looks a little bit more like an orangutan. Like you remember, like the Makaya skunk ape pictures, right? Where the old lady
Yeah, the
had the
long hair and stuff,
yeah,
matted.
yeah, and that looks
Yeah,
like
very
an
orangutan.
orangutan.
Like I mean, kind of. It didn't have the bulges on the side of the cheeks,
Yeah, the flanges.
but
Well, those are only present in the males though, right? Or in the like
right.
mature males. The flanges are.
But they
Um,
also don't have like black fur
yeah, that's
either.
true too. But I don't know. There's some different skunk ape pictures and photographs and claims. Let's see if we can get a closer look at this girl. Let's see. Can we zoom over this way? It's mostly this head I want to get a look at because the way it's foreshortened like that, I really think it's a puma because I think that we'd see a longer muzzle if it was a jaguar or a Indian leopard. You'd see the muzzle come out out to right here, right? Just thinking out loud, but I'm not a feline anatomical expert or anything, but the shoulder hump here definitely makes me feel like this is not a pantherine because the shoulder girdle on pantherines is set further back right here to allow because they have arms for wrestling large game, whereas pumas have an ancestry from small cats. They're closer related to house cats than they are to leopards and lions, and they're more specialized in hunting small game. So they have slimmer, more precision based front limbs. That they're more adept at jumping and snagging things out of the air. Usually things that are smaller though, but they can take down. I mean, obviously they take down elk and stuff. So they can take down big prey too, but they even use a different method than you would see with some other big cats because they'll jump on the elk's back and just ride it, biting onto its neck. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, those back legs look a little bit more like tiger type.
Yeah, and I can see that right
Um,
here in this hip. Right?
that back one, how it's wide, its width is all the way down.
This one back here.
Yeah, the back left.
Okay, yeah, right here. Yeah, it's pretty.
It looks like it's not a jumping type of leg structure. Like it looks like a big cat, like actual like a
You think like a
brown savannah
pantherine?
cat, like a lion or like a tiger. It looks pretty wide back there,
Yeah,
which is very interesting.
we
It
do
does
get
kind of look
kind of.
lioness
I do
a little
detect a
bit.
little bit of like what you see on the tigers, like the tufts on the sides, the white tufts. I do
Yeah,
see
the wild. You
something
can tell it's
kind
a
of like
wildcat.
that right here, maybe. Um, and I can't make out where it's chin or if there's is fur on its chin coming down to here or what. There's this blur right here, so I can't really make out what's below the jawline. But I know that at least this part of it is the jaw, which it does give it with this tuft right here. It does give it a very tiger-like appearance. I
It's
do
definitely a
agree.
wildcat. Wildcats get that. Even a wild house cat left in the
Mhm.
wild will start getting that.
It's to
Actually,
protect it protects their neck from fighting with other cats, other cats and other creatures too, from them biting into the neck and just getting straight to the jugular, giving them some uh, fur to have to gnaw through first. That's what lions' manes are mainly for, because lions have a very strong interspecific conflict drive. Right? They want to punch each other, and two male lions will just sit there and right hook, left hook each other in the
oh
face
yeah,
for blow after blow after blow. They'll do that because and that's the main is kind of their go-to defense that makes them able to do that. So they're like boxers competing constantly for leadership of the pride. That's why lions can actually compete with tigers in the arena when people used to put them in arenas for animal fights and stuff. And back in the olden days, the tiger and lion were actually so equally balanced, even though the lions are like 50 pounds to 100 pounds lighter than the tiger. Lions are they're like boxers. Whereas tigers are
Mm.
solitary; they're just hunters. They're not used to having to fight with other big cats.
Right, they're not constantly fighting from the day
Yeah,
they're born until they die.
yeah, because
Other big cat lions.
all tigers live the same, whether male or female, live the same basic kind of lifestyle where they hunt and take care of themselves. Whereas lions, the females do this hunting ritual. The males may hunt here and there for smaller stuff, but mainly their job is to compete with other, like to protect the territory from other lions, protect their kill from other, protect the females' kills from other predators and scavengers until the pride's done with it. So that's the male lion's job. It's a little bit different than what a tiger hit. He has a completely different role, and he's just a big bruiser. He's like the bouncer at the bar for the pride. That's what he does. He's the muscle that comes in after they take down the big prey, and he helps maintain the perimeter while the pride eats. Of course, he gets to eat first, because he eats first and then does his guardian thing. Once he's full and his belly's full and he has that confidence in himself and his ability to rule his pride, and he's all feeling fit as a fiddle, then the females are eating and he's just like chilling out there, making sure everybody else stays away. And if another lion comes along or some hyenas come along, he just tears right into them, right? And that's his role. And he's just a bruiser and a brawler. And that his job is to fight other big predators. And a tiger, despite its size advantage, despite its claws being just, I mean, and it's just a tiny bit longer, but they're like a third of an inch longer. And their fangs are like a quarter of an inch longer than the lion's fangs. But just that mane and that innate bruiser, let's brawl mentality that these cats have, it makes them on par with one another. And I do see some tiger in this, I guess is what I'm saying. I get to ramble and you got to shut me up, Blake.
No, it's all right. You're doing fine. And yeah, tigers are more analytical and stuff, and they stalk and hunt. So they're thinking, and they're very smart cats. They're not.
I was recently reading this, watching a video, a story attached to it, but about this tiger that stalked this guy in Russia that stole its kill for like 4 weeks, killed his dog, and broke into his house every time he left. And I mean, what he did is he was out hunting and had his gun loaded and everything, and they came across, they found the deer tracks, and then they came across the carcass of the deer that had just been killed by a tiger, and their approach had scared it off. It darted away, and he's like, oh, perfectly good deer carcass, can't leave it here. And he took it home and butchered it. That tiger stalked him for weeks, it would kill his dogs. I think it killed one of his neighbors too. Eventually it got him though. It killed him. But
those Siberian tigers are pretty amazing, intimidating. I mean, there's another one from Russia where a guy shot at one with like bird shot. Mm-hmm. They get shot at a lot over there. And it stalked this guy outside of his house for 12 hours and waited till he left and got him. Like, that's like revenge level stuff, and waiting and stalking and planning and stuff. That's not average level. Like, most animals will always run away, even if they get attacked by humans. They don't plan on like, oh, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, I'm gonna wait outside, I'm gonna kill your dog, I'm gonna, elephants do that. We've seen the elephant do that with this African woman. She helped poachers poach a baby elephant. This elephant tracked her down, killed her dog. She ended up going to the woman's funeral, ripping her body out of the casket, dragging it like a rag all over the place.
The elephant did?
The elephant did. The elephant went to her house, killed her goat. Yeah, because that lady helped the poachers steal her baby. And the elephant traveled miles and miles to her funeral to get to her, and in front of everyone, grabbed her and started shaking her and ragdolling her.
Damn. I mean, there's like with big cats, there's the Lions of Savo, right? The Ghost in the Darkness. You ever watch that movie with Val Kilmer and Michael
That movie scared me a little bit as a kid. Yeah. Being 5 years old,
Those
that was real
you
real
can go to
thing.
the Chicago Field Museum right now and see. I went there recently and saw them. They're I mean they look kind of like old mounted lions. You wouldn't. I mean they're not particularly large, or
They're
particularly.
maneless male lions
Yeah,
though,
they're
which is
maneless. They
pretty
are. They look like two
unique.
female lions, but they're males. Um, and it may be that there just wasn't enough taxidermy uh, uh, skill in their preservation, that they don't look as big as they were in reality, but they were.
Yeah,
They don't
it's
look.
probably true.
They don't look like big healthy male lions. They look like maybe a little bit larger than your average lioness. But they killed dozens, maybe even hundreds, allegedly hundreds of people, but at least dozens of
Yeah, it's
people
like
confirmed.
200 to like over 1200, and then it's like, well, even more because I mean, there's certain they don't keep count. I mean, some of these people were dirt poor, and it's like, oh well. They didn't even really have him on record of who he was, let alone keeping count if he died. But they did a lot. The hunter who killed it, it's a very fascinating story. I mean, you could do a whole 3 hours show
Yeah,
on it, but
and the movie is mostly fictional. The real story is actually
right,
more interesting
the
if you
real
watch it.
story is
Yeah,
way more interesting.
yeah. And some of these the turn of the century hunters that hunted man eaters,
Oh
very
God,
interesting.
some of these stories are amazing.
I'm trying to think of what his name is. There's a famous one. He wrote a book called Man Eater. But he killed all the famous ones, all the famous man-eating tigers and leopards. Was it the tiger of? Hold on, I'll look it up.
Yeah, there's several. I can't remember the names, but those Savo lions, they ripped men out of tents and out of beds and dragged them
There it is.
out of encampments and stuff.
It was Jim Corbett. There's a book he wrote.
Uh,
He was a great white hunter. And then he turned conservationist later in life. But
yep, yep.
they would call on him to come to hunt down man-eating tigers and leopards in India. So he made his career in like the 1920s or 1910s, 1920s, hunting down in these man-eating leopards and tigers that were stalking these little villages in the Indian jungles. So that was his claim to fame. And he wrote some interesting stories about them. But some of these cats have huge body counts that compare or exceed the lions of Savo.
Oh yeah, some of those leopard. I mean, it's still going on today. You can watch the videos. I mean, those things are still going into these cities, grabbing people, killing pets. Yeah, it's pretty freaky. Um, there's a recent one I've seen where it's the daytime. This leopard is just he's just going attacking anything that moves. He's just running around. I think it's just the environmental stress of the urban population that got to that creature because that thing is just attacks a dude on a motorcycle, runs after something else, changes its mind, goes after something else. It's like scattered brain.
Yeah, there's I did my this week I did like anti-gravity stuff on my cryptic corner show, but the week before I did American hyenas, where I talked about the alleged hyena sightings in North America throughout the years. Have you ever heard of you've heard of the ringodocus, the stuffed specimen? Since I mentioned taxidermy earlier, it's made me think about it. But was the stuffed? It was basically a timber wolf, a prairie wolf that was badly preserved or badly taxidermied, so that it looked like it had a sloped hyena back. And they took it was taxidermied decades ago, and there was an old black and white picture of it, and then it disappeared. No one knew where it was for years. And all we had was this old black and white picture of this animal that was shot, and it looked like this mangy. It looked kind of like a hyena, which is where the whole American hyena thing kind of is rooted at. But uh, they rediscovered it, however, in like 2001, something like that, and they found it in storage in some museum in Montana. And it doesn't the sloped back look that it had was just the artifact of the angle of the picture was taken. It didn't really have the hyena sloped back, and it did have some gnarly looking facial expressions, but that was due to poor taxidermy. So the whole all the deformities of the head was poor taxidermy, and then the actual pelt of the animal is the only thing that really stands out as unique, and that's because it's a smoky gray color, which is not a real common color that you see in wolves in Montana at that time.
Yeah, there's always been people trying to do that. I think the old famous photograph of the pterosaur, a pterodactyl type creature
Oh yeah,
from the 1800s. That one's pretty interesting.
yeah.
Not the new CGI enhanced one that's floating around. The same photo, but it's just CGI over it. What do you think that was? What do you think that was? That some actual bird, or was it a?
There's a few versions of it. So the main ones that people cite come from a it wasn't something awful. What was it? It's one of those sites that do like contests and things like that. So, but it'll come to me in a minute. But they did. So they had made the original one. There was the story about the image, the old Civil War image of the people standing posing with that legend goes back, and the allegedly the photo was lost for century or for since the what they early 1900s or something. Anyway, that was allegedly lost, and then but they Freaky Links, that's what it was. Freaky Links, they did a recreation of it, but it looked like crap. It didn't look like anything. It looked like some guy standing over like a broken down tent. It didn't look like a pterosaur at all. So they hired a different production company to make a better model of the pterosaur, and then they took a picture of that, and that's the one that's most famous. That's the one most people cite as being the real one. The thing about that one is that the model to that is actually in Lauren Coleman's Cryptozoological Museum. You can go see that model. He owns it. He bought it from the people who made it. You know, he always buys all the cryptozoological artifacts.
Yeah,
Lauren Coleman does. That's sort of his bag. But so that's in the museum, and the other one, I don't know what happened to the original model, but it doesn't. That I guess I could say that in no way necessarily informs the legend prior to the Freaky Links connection.
Right, it's just the photo itself.
Yeah,
and everything
but
else
the
comes from
alleged real photos never resurfaced.
Right, it's just supposedly it depicts like the fake photographs is supposedly what it represents of the real photograph,
it's
right?
supposed to be like
Everyone's lined up and they shot this thing, and supposedly this was a real story that happened. There's some other freaky stories of things that happened during the Civil War, of Bigfoots and stuff.
I have a story about a giant centipede from the Civil War. Not man size, but it was like a big giant centipede. It crawled across this guy's chest, and each place that his legs touched him pierced his skin, and injected venom, which is centipedes don't, any centipedes we know about don't do that. So it's
through their legs like that.
But he ended up dying. A Civil War soldier. So one was killed by a giant cryptid centipede, at least.
Some underground bug. I mean, a lot of bugs have poisons or chemicals and other things that are pretty nasty. So, if you have one big enough.
And this was in Arkansas. So in Arkansas, that place is just a honeycomb of caves. There's just so there are places for big bugs to evolve and be secure, and centipedes do really well in those types of environments where if centipedes, even a centipede that big, fits through a hole smaller than a soda can, right? It's gonna be able to have access to a lot of areas and be able to
Oh
remain
yeah.
hidden as well. Be able to travel far distances without anybody seeing it. Through all that honeycomb of tunnels. Anyway, I just
100%.
wanted to come in and share that sighting with you and maybe chat you up a little bit. But I'm gonna head on to bed now. It's been fun chatting with you.
I appreciate it. And,
Yep.
I
All
look
right.
forward to the next time. It's always a delight to have you show up.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone, check out Hive Mind. Great channel and stuff. Very informative on the information, as you guys can probably tell, and a bunch of different things. Trying to expose fake videos of. Uh, I think I tuned in one time and just you're exposing um, civilization structures on like on the moon or on Mars or some planets or something, and it's just from the photos. So there's a lot of interesting stuff on that channel. Great content, informative information and discussions, and to check them out. Yes, well, we'll probably stay on for a little bit longer. Probably reach the 2 hour mark, I guess, maybe a little less. Um, Round it out there. I'll put the link in the chat again. If anyone wants to come on, feel free and welcome. Talk about whatever. Just keep it polite, be courteous of others, and let's just have fun. So yeah. Um, so yeah, we have a lot of stuff planned. I'm gonna throw out this challenge out there. I'll probably make a bigger deal about it here pretty soon. But the challenge is come to Michigan and go out with me and try to prove if this stuff is real. If prove if I'm a fake, if I'm bullshitting you guys, or if it's real. I will happily take you to. If you have a spot in Michigan that you want to go, and you want to go to that spot because you think that's where they are, I will love and be join you there. But if you want me to take you to a spot where I think we'll have a pretty good shot of activity, I will gladly take you up and challenge you to go with me. So I can prove that not only what we are encountering here is reality, real, that I can prove to you guys, and then the challenge is to detect bullshit or not, and we need to challenge other researchers. And the only way to really challenge and vet and verify another researcher if it's what they're doing is bullshit or made up fantasy or entertainment is actually going into the field with them. Going into the field and experiencing how they operate, what they do, um, how they perceive everything, what's their perception on things, how they react to every single sound. I mean, it's pretty funny when you go to a place and the person wants to sensationalize so much that they want to like convince everyone around them Bigfoot's happening. But not only that, they want you to convince yourself and go along and say, "Oh yeah, there's a Bigfoot. That little creak or little snap was a Bigfoot." They want you to verify and acknowledge that yeah, that was a Bigfoot. Go along with the story, with this play. So the challenge is going out with those researchers and checking them out, seeing if it's bullshit, if it's fantasy, if they're, if you go out to a camping spot, you go to the sky and you guys are talking, oh yeah, we're gonna go do this and we're gonna go do this and go on a night hike and blah blah blah, and you go there and then it's like, man, the bugs are really eating us up, and yeah, I'm a little tired. Let's just, we'll just cut in for the night, cut in a little early, get up extra early and do this. It's a red flag. You need to challenge a lot of these people and put their asses to the fire. Not you know, and really, really test their might on this stuff, because I'm sick of, like we were talking about earlier, is entertainment side of this stuff. If you're entertainment, then say it. Say your channel's entertainment, and everything you do out there is for entertainment purposes. I invite anyone and every researcher out there and people who want to go um, to I invite and challenge anyone to come show up here with me and go out with me. If anyone shows up here to go research with me and accepts the challenge, I will go out and take you guys out. We'll go out all night long. I promise you, you will get more tired and you will quit before I quit. No matter what situation, you be a snowstorm, getting eaten up by mosquitoes, I will not quit before you. So if you want to stay out there and keep going and keep going, keep going, I'll go out there and keep going. And you will you'll stop and want to be ending the trip before I ever will. So if that person you're going out with isn't like that, doesn't have that mindset, and they quit before you, like the person taking you out to their spot quits the journey, quits the hike because it's too hard, that should be telling you everything you need to know. And you're the one out there and you're ready to go, you want to keep going, well, then this person's fake. So that's a challenge. I'll go out there and I'll last longer than you. We'll have fun, hopefully get some Bigfoot interaction. But you're gonna know, like, hey, this ain't bullshit. At least Blake's not bullshitting people out there. Like, he's doing the fucking work. If you want to walk, 5 miles one way with me in the woods, let's go walk 5 miles that way. Go camp with me. Let's go do that. We're gonna go primitive camp, not at no camping site. This is off the trail in the middle of the woods, wherever we can find our spot, wherever may we be. Yeah, I seen that, Sandra. There's no way. Now, you have been on here so many times that I have had encounters with Bigfoot. I know you've been here to hear them. That's funny. The answer is yes. I've had encounters with what I would assume and suspect as Sasquatches, Bigfoot, here in Michigan, not too far away, up in the UP. Like I said, if you want to go anywhere in Michigan, you have a spot. Oh yeah, I hear this spot has Bigfoot. We'll go there. You don't need me to pick a spot for you if you've done your own research and want to have a spot here to do something. But I do challenge people to come out and put the boots on the ground. I will take you out. I have no problem. There's no reason. There's nothing for me to hide. There's no nothing. We can go just me and you. If you want my other members to go ahead. If you want to bring some people, let's do it. Because we don't do entertainment on this channel. I want to challenge people intellectually and physically in this arena. Physically by get your ass off the couch and go out there. Okay, and if you want to go out there, you're determined, then let's go out there and let's put the work in. Okay, not talky talk. Oh, let's go. It's like from me. I live in Michigan. I'm gonna go fly over to Washington or California or wherever. Let's go to Bluff. Let's go to Bluff Creek. Let's go to where Patty was filmed. If I go there and I go with other researchers who are hosting me there, and all they do is drive up to the spot and just sit at camp and play camp researcher, never really leaving camp, staying at camp and doing nothing at dark at nighttime, that is the biggest waste of time that I could be doing. I will literally go off by myself and do everything on my own rather than sit at a fucking camp and play camp researcher. Like, that is So if you come here, don't expect that. I mean, if you want to do that, and that, I mean, if that's all you can physically do, that's what we will do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are physically able to do more and you want to do more, then I challenge you to come here and let's do it. Um, for free. I'm not charging anyone. I don't have to charge me. I'm not charging anyone to take anyone out. So if you want to come here, do it. No cost other than you should probably bring your own gear and get here, stuff like that, right? Common sense stuff, right? Um, if you guys wanted to donate after the fact, I'm not going to stop you, but I'm not going to, jab you up for some money either. I'm more on the part of the course of just proving that this is real, taking other people out and showing them that this is real, but this is what we're experiencing is reality. This is not entertainment. This is not going to be entertainment. This is reality. So I think some of these people who are sensationalizing, so they're playing a fantasy game of content creation. They're putting themselves in danger because I don't even know some of these people actually believe Sasquatch is real, but they're going out there and they're not being aware. They're being hyper overexcited about everything. Just overexcited about everything. Just take a deep breath, calm down, and analyze and think. Use your fucking brain. Excuse my language, but it's like, come on, guys. Some of these calls that we get responses are, yeah, it can be hard to tell what the hell that was, especially in the moment. And you can get excited and blah blah blah. But if it sounds like a damn coyote, you should probably say it's damn coyote and not over sensationalize it. And oh my god, what was that? Did you guys hear that? It was a howler and blah blah blah. I see a lot of bad information and bad videos out there that's only all these kids and people who are beginning to come into this are going to watch and they're going to think, oh my god, well this person has the most views and big channels, they must be right. They're getting the most moronic information and demonstrations possible. It's hilarious. I appreciate that, Sandra Piper. One that was scary. You guys can watch the Jason Kenzie and Blake Deutscher's Bigfoot Encounter. That's the name of the title. It's on this channel. You guys can watch it in 4K. That was one of my top scary ones, maybe the top scary one, other than being yelled at by the big male who argued with his female. That one did scare me the most, but the one with me and Jason scared me the most, and the fact that I had no idea what could have actually happened in that moment. Getting yelled at by a Bigfoot and he's coming down. Okay, so like the situation, what to kind of expect. You already get a sense of how they feel, and that is fucking scary. In this situation, it was totally unique and different. They introduced themselves by brushing up the ground. They caused the initial interaction with us. They let us watch them. As soon as they brushed the ground or they moved some leaves on the ground, I'm guessing I turned around with my rifle and I pointed it at the ground but towards them, and then I shouldered my rifle. That there's a lot of dynamics that come into play. That was risk assessment, threat assessment, risking. Okay, we're gonna announce this guy, announce these people that were here. They're already looking for us. We acknowledge. I always acknowledge when I'm out there, try to acknowledge these things because I want them to fully understand that I recognize them. I'm out there trying to look for them, engage with them. I'm not some dumbass camper who doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Okay? I don't like that. I think that's dangerous. Um, Fully engaged with them. So they knew we were looking for them all week. When they brushed the ground, they knew I have the gun on me. I've been carrying the gun every single day, all night, all the time. They know I have the gun. So when they make the conscious, intelligent decision to, hey, I'm going to get this guy's attention, even though he has a gun, they're calculating the decision of whether or not that person with the gun is going to turn around, point the gun at them, and start shooting at them. It's become a very dangerous situation, right? So when I do turn around and point the gun at them, it wasn't totally unexpected, right? They probably figured that's probably what was going to happen, and they scattered about, scattered and hid behind trees or something. It sounded like they just scattered about, and you could tell there's multiple individuals. Because very quickly, you hear them scattering about, and it's hard to describe, but if Sasquatch is sneaking through the woods or moving through the woods, it's a very particular sound. I call it they are slinking through the woods. They're not sneaking, they're slinking. And it's very hard to describe. It basically sounds like if you ever heard a squirrel run through the woods, they sound like a 500-pound Sasquatch walking through the woods. Sasquatch sounds like a half-pound squirrel sneaking through the woods. Okay. So very quickly, I instinctively knew that I believe that those are Sasquatches by the way that they're sounding and the way they announce themselves. I shouldered the gun. Moments after that, we had one pop out behind the tree and allowed us to view it. The other one popped out, 8 foot tall, 7 foot tall. We watched them for 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minutes. And we were pointing at them. They knew we seen them. I mean, that was a scary situation because it's like they're showing themselves to you. Like this is it. This is one wrong move, and it could be very dangerous for us. In that situation, there are so many unknown situation possibilities and outcomes that scared the living crap out of me. Because I in the moment, it's like I have no idea what's going to go on. I hear one circling around us to get on our backside, which is the one that Jason Kenzie seen cross the trail. So there was at least three, and it's very, especially after the fact. That whole situation, man. What were they thinking? That's the scary part. Is what were they thinking? Were they planning nefarious things? Were they planning to like make us disappear? Were they just trying to be, friendly interaction, trying to just, I don't know. I really hope it wasn't nefarious and stuff because there's a lot of missing people up there. We could have went missing. Those things could have carried us off in the night, never be seen again, and no one at camp even really knew where we were going because only I knew where I was going and taking Jason. So no one even would have known to look. They would just follow this trail until the trail ended. And then it's like, well, where did they go? That situation scared me because the level of engagement they were doing, they showed themselves, everything was just so much more higher level than anything. And in that moment, it's like, you want to walk up, and we did walk up to where they were standing, but it's like, it's the most scariest, thrilling, adventurous, probably moments of my life is when real encounters start happening because these things can just, I mean, literally, these things could walk up to you with one hand and grab you by your throat, and you're dead. You're literally dead by that. Your throat's collapsed. That's all they have to do. It takes 75 pounds of force to collapse your throat. Okay, a pretty buff guy could do that to most people. A Sasquatch can probably do that with 2 fingers. Um, uh, so that would be it. And you guys can watch that right now in 4K, and you can watch how we handle the situation, what we did. You can see the eye shine. Eye shine roughly is at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And there's another one at 8 minutes, 30 seconds, I believe, or it's 10 minutes and 30 something seconds. Between there's a couple moments of eye shine that you can see that's very close by us, extremely close. The title of that is it's on our channel. It's called Jason Kenzie and Blake Deuscher's Bigfoot Encounter. And it is the raw, unedited footage that Jason captured in 4K. And it was very interesting because I had my hunting light that is amazing, coyote hunting light, died, and then we were using Jason's like $15 headlamps. So it's like going from amazing piece of equipment to practically nothing, dollar store equipment. Probably was the reason why they got so close, because if I had that headlamp, I don't think they would have got that close, and we would definitely have seen them. Definitely would have captured it on camera. The night vision camera that I got would have captured them on camera at that distance. We would have seen their eye shine at least, and most likely a silhouette. But definitely would have captured the eye shine. Unfortunately, Jason's camera did not capture it when we were staring at the tree, but it captured it as we walked by closer, standing there. There's one behind me, right behind me, and then as we walk back, there's one in the trees. And you can also watch Jason Kenzie's Searching for Sasquatch documentaries on Tubi. If you've watched other channels and stuff, Jason Kenzie does some interviews every once in a while, and usually he talks about our encounter that we shared. I'm glad I shared it with him because he was quite the personality. Always trying to make everyone laugh, and I think that's maybe why they showed themselves to us. Particular combination, because when I invited them back to our camp, there was one that was seen on thermal, standing behind me, standing behind the whole camp, watching us, but they never interacted with the camp, with everyone else. They never fully engaged after that night or at that level. It seemed like when we went back to camp, they just stayed back and watched us. They didn't want to interact with everyone that was there. No, yeah, I have no idea. I always keep thinking back of this, why me and Jason, right? Or why did they show themselves to us? Why didn't they continue to have interaction with the whole camp at that level? Of, when we got back to camp, why didn't they like start throwing rocks at us or start making more sounds or start letting everyone else know that they were there? Why just show me and Jason that they were there, then act like nothing, like they didn't want to do anything with us again after? You know, um, I've spent hours and hours analyzing and thinking and theorizing what what are the reasons, what are the possible reasons why, and I just don't know. Other than maybe they were just watching me and Jason and everyone else the entire week we were there and decided, these two are not too bad. Jason makes us laugh. He's always funny and laughing. So I don't know. I have no idea. Very amazing. Very ape. Very ape like when I seen the head of the one and it turned its head and looked up at the other creature. It had a side view of its cranium, and it looked like a big, massive gorilla crest. I mean, its forehead just sloped up. It was this massive forehead, and that's when I instantly knew, oh my God, that there's nothing else that could possibly be. Because in the moment, I'm thinking, even though I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is Sasquatch, as I put my gun away, I don't think it's a bear. I don't think it's a wolf, because I would have my gun out pointed at that thing if I did. But even when you see in the eyes, at first I'm like, okay, well, it's behind a tree, it's on the side of a tree. It could be a raccoon, could be something it could be a possum just hanging off the tree, right? Right. It could be that, it could be this, could be that. Okay, then there was the two of them, and then I'm thinking, okay, wait, well, okay, maybe it's something else, But right before the big one came out, I was thinking, maybe it's a raccoon hanging off the tree, that little one. Maybe it's a wolf. Maybe it's a wolf off the ground, or maybe it's a bear or something like that. In the real time, everything's flooding in. I mean, it's like light speed flashing of thoughts and trying to analyze what's going on in real time. But when second one came out, it was I'm knowing I know what's going on, but my brain is trying to rationalize. No, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. But when it turned and it looked up and its massive cranium, I was just like, there is nothing else that is it is a Sasquatch, what we're out here after. And the fact that they just let us watch and we were pointing at them and just blew me away. And so if that can happen once, it can happen again. If it happens at night, it can probably happen during the daytime. So, but you say that they must have liked or trusted and stuff, but at the same time, there is a lot of missing people all over that place and all over the entire Upper Peninsula. So if they are stealing people, I mean, literally, there's a lot. There's a lot of them around there that people have been missing, and that's another thing why I think it was one of the most scariest things in my situation is I didn't we don't know if these things were just trying to distract us while another one came in and flanked us and grabbed us. I mean, obviously didn't happen, but another thing I tell people is you don't have to worry about a pissed off Sasquatch. You should also be worried about an overexcited Sasquatch. An overexcited, not even sexually, but just overexcited Sasquatch. You know, maybe it's having fun with you and it doesn't want you to leave just yet. It wants to keep playing. So that it could be turned into more aggressive tactics to maybe keep you from leaving just yet or pushing you to where it wants you to go. Um, Women, maybe the male just fancies you and takes you off. Men, maybe you look like a manly man and that female you interacted with doesn't want you to leave. In fact, it wants you to come back and spend time with her. That's in a situation where you did nothing wrong. You didn't make the Sasquatch pissed off. All you did was maybe just research, right? Just in a little interaction. But the Sasquatch became overexcited, wants to keep playing with you, wants to keep interacting with you, doesn't want you to leave. Then it might get frustrated that you're leaving. Maybe it flat out says, you know what, you're not going to leave. You're going to spend time with me until I'm done. We don't know what's acceptable to them, what they want to do. I mean, and that's a situation where all you did was out in the woods, just doing what you normally do, um, and that can happen. Uh, yeah, Texas Jack. Yeah, yeah. That could be. No, seriously though, it doesn't have to be aggressive, scary monsters just going to eat you to make you go missing. For kids, a Sasquatch juvenile takes young juvenile kid and wants to play, and then all of a sudden, the kid dies because the Sasquatch doesn't understand, it, or when people are taken, they don't have the physical energy and stamina to keep up and out in the cold and everything else, and they die. Yeah, it's definitely not a situation you would want to find yourself in. That's why I carry weapons on me. Um, for a few reasons. One being is I'm not a prey. Sasquatch knows what guns are. They know what guns are used for, and I'm not easy pickings for anything. So yeah, I definitely am armed. There's a mutual respect when it comes to people who are armed and people who can maybe hurt you if you hurt them, right? Uh, Makes animals and predators second guess what they're going to do and engage with you if they know that you could mess them up. I want that mutual respect. I don't want them to feel like, we can walk over this guy without any consequences. I want them to know, like, hey, I respect you, you respect me. Don't mess with me too much, and I won't do nothing to you, right? That's kind of common thing that they possibly could understand, and I want them to feel a little extra buffering of potential consequences if they do something bad that I don't like, because I already know that if I do something that they don't like, as I already know this 1,200-pound animal could just destroy me, rip my head off. But uh, so to have polite interactions, I think mutual respect is necessary, and so that kind of ensures it a little bit. And the way you carry yourself out there. A Sasquatch. Why would a Sasquatch interact with a drunken buffoon who's hostile to everyone or who's just moronic out there, who's not engaged with the environment, doesn't know what's going on, or simply those unaware campers who are just ignorantly ignoring every little interaction that Sasquatch is attempting to do. Slim, I mean, those are pretty easy pickings for them to do whatever they want. But when you're out there, you carry yourself a certain way, maybe you have a certain vibe. You carry yourself in a way that is more environmentally conscious, I don't litter. If I have something and I will put it in my pocket before I throw it on the ground or anything like that. If you have guns, maybe don't point it at everything and take shots at birds and stupid shots at things that you're not supposed to, right? Being professional in the manner. I think there's certain things you can do when you're out there that will present to them in a way that they will understand. Like, hey, maybe this guy has some quality traits that maybe he won't just flip out and shoot at us if we try to mess with him a little bit and try to actually interact. The drunken asshole who's waving his gun around and shooting at every sound he hears in the bushes probably isn't going to get the best interaction that he wants and actual close interaction that we want. Uh, there's just a lot of things that I think as researchers we should probably be looking at and trying to do because they're watching us, right? That's all they do is watch. People watch. So what are they doing? They're watching you and analyzing everything about you, how you do, what you carry yourself about, how you carry yourself about what you interact with, your family. I'm sure you guys can tell by looking at people and family. So, oh yeah, that's their kids. Oh, obviously that's their wife and stuff, and you can tell what kind of people they are by interacting with those people, by interacting with the environments. If they get stressed out by certain things, they get annoyed. Um, and so, what is that? What is watching people gain to a Sasquatch? It's information. It's evolving to survive the human extinction of the modern world. To learn to adapt to it, the changing environment and of humans to hide still from us, to be able to maneuver and tactically outpace us in the woods, to scare us out of the woods very efforts. I'm getting tired. I can't talk now. To scare us out of the woods with minimal ease. If all they have to do is pick up a little rock and throw it at you and just make a little grunting sound to get you out of the area, that's a big evolutionary difference between going to war with Native Americans and forcing them out by force. If they can scare people out of the woods by just throwing rocks and making sounds, they don't have to get hurt or put themselves in danger, then they'll do that and they'll learn to do that. And they're going to learn that, hey, we really don't have to do much to scare these guys. And they can learn how people react to things they do, how they react to certain things. And I mean, it's just no brainer. If you're out in the woods, I mean, other animals do this. Deer have learned and instinctively evolved that, oh, I hear a bipedal person walking on two legs in the woods. That's a human. I'm gonna run away. Right? Because we've hunted them enough that they know the sound of a two-legged person. If Sasquatch is observing people and strategizing of learning and adapting and evolving to stay hidden from people and evolving to do tricks and things, and they know that when people are looking over here, they're not paying attention to what's over here. Or, if you stay still, people really can't see you in the woods if you just stay still. How would they have learned that without observation and actually doing it? And doing it enough that it actually becomes viable for them. Sasquatches, from my experience, they crawl on the ground a lot. And they crawl on the ground like a big cat. Like when a big cat is sneaking up very low to the ground, they crawl like that. Most people are looking for something that's standing up, that's up above. They're looking above here when they need to look down. Down. Look at the ground, look in the brush, not for something standing up moving. Not even deer level height. We're talking small, small, low profile. Like a dog level height, you know. 2 feet off the ground. Not much. And so they learn that, if we crawl on all fours, people tend not to see us and stuff. Or if we're walking and they see us standing up and then we drop on all fours, they typically keep looking for us as if we're walking. Yeah, the spider crawl, the Spider-Man crawl. I like that. Jason said Kenzie's seen the spider crawl in that encounter video, and he says it, and it freaked him out. The one I filmed in Florida, which hopefully will come out one day when the people who have the footage put it out. That thing spider crawled, and it freaked me out. The way it looked, that its locomotion and stuff. It's very weird to see a humanoid creature's locomotion look very unhuman characteristic and very fluid movement. It's very creepy looking to see that. It's very unnatural and stuff. Like, it's very unnatural, and it affects people by seeing it. That footage hopefully will come out sooner rather than later, but it's out of my hands, so there's nothing I can do about it. That would be from the 168. Okay, it's been about 2 hours, over 2 hours. So if there's any final questions, comments, concerns, advice, let's get them out there. We'll be shutting the show down. Not going to go any do the 4-hour shows or nothing like that tonight. I'm on to been doing a lot of working out actually. Trying to eat healthier, work out a lot more, get into shape, and be up on par or better shape than I have been in a very long time. And that is only going to help in the field. Because it's like this, okay? I'm not trying to shame on anyone or any body type, but like when I see some people who say they research and they're trying to prove, and hey, there's some really big guys out there who I do consider real researchers. But there's some guys out there who look like they barely get off the couch, let alone walking miles and miles in the woods regularly. If you look like, you don't look like, that should just say it all, you got a guy who's close to 300 pounds walking around out there. How be realistic. How far out there is he really going to go before he gets tired and quits? How much sweat and blood is he willing to spill out there to do this? And the answer most likely is not going to be that much. So therefore, going to be camping as a camp researcher because it's easier to sit down and be at camp and we'll just stay at camp and have the Bigfoots come in. Yeah. We'll just be normal campers like millions of other people. Nothing unique about it. We'll just stay at camp. We've done it. It can work, right? But if you want the real intense stuff to happen to you, you go off trail and you go look for them where you think they're at. It's not going to be at your campsite at your comfy chair. There's a lot of people that need to be exposed too, but some big channels, big calm and soft talking channels, and when we take people out, and this guy, it irks me that he actually said this, and he does say this. He says it all the time when he takes people out on these shows. I can't watch the shows because I just can't stand these people, but it's like, well, I invite people all over the country, right? You guys fly out hundreds of miles, 1,000 miles, pay thousands of dollars to come here to Michigan, right? Imagine if I did this. Yeah, I invite you, everyone out. You guys come here. We go at camp. We do a little bit of walking during the daytime, but when it gets dark, And you guys, oh yeah, when we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out, right? We're gonna go out. And then it gets later, and it gets later, and we don't do nothing, and it gets later, and you guys get tired. So you know what? You guys go into your tent. Then I go out by myself to go Bigfoot researching. And then I come back and I say, well, and on the show as well, that's my strategy. I wait till everyone else goes to sleep and then I go off by myself to do things. Wouldn't that just piss you off? Wouldn't that just piss anyone off who went on to that trip? Wanting to go out with these guys, wanting to go out at night, and that guy deliberately waits until you go to bed, waits until he's the last person, and then goes out by himself. You think that guy's honest about anything that happens out there after that? Do you think that guy? I mean, that if he's gonna go out anyways, why don't you just take you? I mean, that's the whole point, right? Didn't they invite you thousands of miles to go Bigfoot researching for it with them? There's these red flags that pop up that most people just ignore. They don't care. They don't see it. They don't want to see it because we have a very nice, soft, flowing voice and have very nice stories and can come up with bullshit and tell you guys. And we'll go to Florida, and when it's time to research, well, it's too hot out. It's this. We would rather tell you about all of our successful expeditions of us going out to do stuff. But on this expedition, we're not doing nothing. And they get mad when everyone else won't listen to us and our expertise and our stars because I'm sorry, I'm too busy. I'm going out in the field. I don't got time to listen to you. It's time for a wake up call, people. Yeah. Or people getting butthurt because, you and your boys are the only people going out. And if you're the only one going out, you're the only one who's going to get something or potentially get something. So when you start having interaction and everyone else is getting pissed because they won't fucking leave camp, well, tough shit, right? Put up or shut up. You talk all you want. It will never do anything. It will never get shit done. And I've learned that. I've learned that that's mostly what people are doing out there is talking, inviting you to have campground stories around a fire, barely doing anything. So you can find those channels, especially that nice soft talking, flowing. And I know some people are out there. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. They talk like this, monotone, soft. And they'll tell you, yeah, we invite everyone out, and I just go out by myself. But they're the experts that people flock to for their comfort stories. So that's all I'm going to be doing for today. I don't want to get too riled up, start going off in a rant about the bullshit because it's just bullshit. That's why I put the challenge out. I invite all those fake people and the real researchers to come out. Not only will I prove myself to you guys by taking you out there, and you can vet me by what I'm doing out there if I'm bullshit or not, but I'm going to be vetting you if you're a real researcher and whether or not you're real or if you're fake, because I'm going to take you out there and I'll put you to the test. And we'll be out there, and if we actually have interaction at nighttime, especially, I'm going to see how you interact and see if your claims of actually being around these things at nighttime is factual or made up. Because in the moment of it actually happening, it's easy to tell who's actually experienced stuff and who's never experienced anything, or who's only thought about it and talked about it, but never first time hands on before. And so that's the challenge. All right, guys. So thanks you for sticking with me. We're going to have another live show next Saturday. And we're going to keep it real, going to have fun, doing a lot of big things. We're gonna have a Bigfoot conference this year, and I always keep forgetting to promote that till the very end. But stay tuned for that. We're gonna have big plans. Getting strong, getting healthy, putting on some muscle, getting lean, getting into shape, and we're hopefully going to be pushing into deeper areas, crazier spots, more rugged, deeper swamps so that people just won't go. And most of these researchers physically can't even really go anyway. So we're going to take you to places that they just simply refuse to go on purpose. And I'm going to show you that I will show you why. So stay tuned. I'll have a little bit of a winter video of me out there nonchalantly looking for Bigfoot tracks and of me going through a swampy area and falling in waist deep into freezing cold water. And so you guys can see that. You guys can see some of the other winter videos I've done of I'm actually in some of them I'm in water. I cross through streams and rivers and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about some videos that are more, these would be more entertainment purposes of me actually being out there and showing you guys, just putting a camera out there and just sitting in front of the camera for 5 hours straight, in a blizzard type of shit, things like that. No one else is doing it, right? And it'd be easy things to show you, like, hey, put up or shut up, right? Right? Prove it, right? Put up or shut up. And that's where I'm at kind of right now with other people. It's either put up or shut up, because talking means nothing, honestly, to me at this point. So put up or shut up. And that's the challenge. All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side.